You probably can't tell just from the state of the window, but it's sleeting and blowing a gale out there. So today's project is an indoor project. Now I have been out and about over the last week just assessing resources in my local area, but no filming as such. So today I'm going to try and make use of this little area I've got in my bedroom here to set up a bench and hopefully make a working fire piston. We'll see how it goes. Right, so the plan is to make a fire piston. Using basic tools I'm fairly restricted. In fact, 2 years ago a friend of mine gave me some stainless steel tube and a piece of bar and some O-rings to make a fire piston, but I don't have the tools to work stainless steel. So instead of using stainless steel as my piston, I'm going to use copper pipe, 15mm or 1/2 inch copper pipe, a piece of dowel which at the moment doesn't fit, so I'm going to have to sand that down, a plunger on the end of the dowel, which is just a piece of softwood I've cut off a fancy bed head or bed end rail, and I'll sand that down a bit more. And then I'm hoping to seal it with, well, one end of the tube obviously has got to be sealed, and I've got copper end stops to do that, so I'll solder them on. And then to make the seal with the rod, I'm going to use, hopefully I'll find 1 or 2 O-rings in here which will be suitable. So that's the plan. And as you know, a lot of these have already been made, but I have in the past attempted to make one of these and it didn't work. But I did do it out in the field with second-hand copper pipe, which I probably couldn't clean out inside very well, and my end plug was just araldite, and I was just using a bit of cut branch, so it probably didn't seal for a number of reasons. Hopefully we can get this one to work, but we're working on something and we don't know what the outcome's going to be, so it's going to be interesting. I've just got basic tools. I've got a gas burner for the welding, not the welding, the soldering, solder and flux, although this flux is older than I am, so I'm hoping it'll work. Hope it'll have some life in it. Hacksaw to cut the tubing and the wood with. I've got a rasp which I started on this with, and sandpaper, tape measure, length of tube. This I've just wrapped a piece of light card round just to get a square end on it, just a sort of square end. Length of tube, I'm not sure. I'm going to go for 6 inches. I'm going to go for a 6 inch. What's 6 inches? It's actually about the length of that paper. Whether that'll be too much or not, I don't know. This is just a prototype, as I say. I've not got one to work before. I don't have one of them nice whizzy cutter things, but apparently that crushes the end of the pipe anyway, so it's probably just as well just to saw it off.
Do you want a cup of tea?
Yes, please. Right, the next job, this is only cheap towel and it's actually got joins in it, so cut that join off.
There's another join here as well.
Right, we need the dowel a fair bit longer because it's got to go almost to the bottom of the tube, and I'll drill it a little bit in there, and I want enough just to work with, so I'll just chop it off there for now, and then go and get it thinned down. Right, so that's scrap. And another bit of towel. I'm just cutting that join out. Yes, righty-ho. Scrap. Right, I've just got to get these to fit when I've taken the burrs off the inside of there. Well, that might do it. That's not a knife, that's a weeding tool. Okay, what I did with these was I put them in the pillar drill, just put them in the chuck in the pillar drill, and then just went up and down with sandpaper until we get a reasonably close fit. Now what I am worried about is I'm going to have to seal these for two reasons. First of all, because it's wood, so if it gets damp it's going to expand. So if you're carrying this about with you, it gets damp, you're never going to get it out again. And the other thing is, it'll be quite porous to let the air through. So I'll think about that while I drill the hole in here, and I need to finish the ends of this off. I'll have to get a file. Well, I am no plumber, so if I'm doing this wrong, please feel free to criticise. We've got a fire extinguisher on hand. You never know. Right. It says on this flux, where is it? Yorkshire flux, medium size. Stir thoroughly before use, keep in a cool place. The best we can do is scrape the top off. try and get a bit out without any junk in it. There we go, that'll do. I'll put that on there. Smear it round a bit. I don't think we need too much on. We need a bit in here though, don't we? A bit in there. Right. Now then, might be handy having a pair of gloves in case things go wrong and I have to pick something up. I've plenty of matches left from that 24-hour challenge. Right, let's see what we're doing here. Okay, shouldn't need any solder. They've got solder in. They've got solder in them, these ones. So it shouldn't need any solder, but I've got some anyway. What does it say on the instructions? Push tube firmly onto fitting and gently heat with blowtorch. When flux boils and solder appears, remove blowtorch and allow to cool. So all we need to see is some solder. There we go. Okay, that'll do. Right, no expense spared. I'm going to use araldite to stick them in. Because if you don't use it, eventually. Something there. That should be more than enough. Right, that glue should have dried now, so what I'm going to do now is make a bit of a divot in the end of the rods, put the char cloth in into the pistons, so that way. Right, well, we ran out of battery there, so hopefully you didn't miss too much. But what I'm doing now is the seals. So I've marked round the piston, and I'm just going to make the first cut with a little fairly blunt hacksaw blade. Could do with a very small needle file, but I haven't got one, so a Swiss Army knife will do it. That's still too proud, so I might actually need a smaller one. Try that one. Right, let's put a bit of lubricant on and see where we are. If this works, I will be utterly amazed. Right. Are we ready? It won't go down. It won't go down. No. Alright. A bit of grease on here. Okay, we haven't got success here, and I think it's because the dowel is so porous. We're not getting a full. See if I can push that down and it stays down. It shouldn't do that. I think it's because the dowel is too porous. See, it stays down. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this end under water, and I'm going to see if it blows bubbles. It's not blowing bubbles, is it? It's very disappointing when you go to all this effort and you're not getting the thing to work. Especially when you've made so much mess as well. Let's try again. There we go. Have you got that? We have success. We have success. Okay. Yes?
I want to test my cake, but the steel rod I had to do it, it's missing. Have you got anything?
Yes, hang on a sec. I've got a little fire going at the moment. Okay, let's go again then, shall we? So we know this is good stuff. I've got perhaps a bit too much on there, but never mind. Where's my piston? There it is. My cylinder. Right. Put a bit more on. Okay, so that's in. If it works, we'll use that as our tinder. Look at that. Okay, so there we have one. Can you see the smoke coming up off that? Possibly not, I don't know. It is a light though. I don't want to set the house on fire. So we have one operational fire piston. Splendid. Absolutely splendid. So that's one good fire piston. I think what the initial problem was the air was going into the grain of the wood, but once I'd got Vaseline on there and it had soaked in, it was stopping it. That's what I think anyway, I don't know. But the air does disappear as you slowly compress it, because it doesn't spring back out again. It does, if you do it quick enough, it'll want to spring back out. I think there's a lot of friction in there as well. So anyway, it works. It wants tidying up. Spare Albright, I should have put it down there. So that's the first one. This is the second one. I just have to finish this one off. Better put this fire out. It's busily smouldering away there. So I don't mind tidying up now, because it's work. Right, so there's been a bit of a delay due mainly to the weather. I have been out and about, but hopefully I'll catch you in a week or so.